It is my pleasure today to introduce our new city manager who also has an application on the table. Kevin Clark over here is saying, we'll vote on you after we hear your presentation, whether or not we let you in. And that's Kevin Clark, so that's not me. Kimberly joined us in November 2023. She comes from Hugoton Public Schools. She has a bachelor's in accounting, master's in leadership. In her municipal career, she worked as finance director at Poto and later as city manager there. Then Guyman as finance director and later city manager. And Duncan as city manager. And when she joined Duncan, she found a $6 million deficit in their budget. So welcome to Stillwater in that respect. We're better. After extensive research, she joined us here in Stillwater. And we were so happy to have her. We wanted to show her what it was like to have the happiest, greatest college town in the United States. On her second day at work here, we had a dead longhorn steer that popped up. So with that, top that one, Kimberly. Please welcome Kimberly.
Thank you all for letting me be here today. Thank you for that lovely introduction. It wasn't even 48 hours when it was found. I didn't find Stillwater. Stillwater found me. Duncan was pretty much home and I had settled in really well there, had done some things that I was pretty proud of and was getting pretty comfortable and things were just kind of cruising along on cruise control. And out of the blue came a knock in Stillwater looking for somebody to come in and, as they like to say, be visionary. And I never like to turn down a challenge, so I applied and I took the job, and here I stand today on day 63. So I just want you to know that it's very hard to speak to a group of people who have lived in a town far longer than you have been in charge of it. And there's probably things that I'm going to say that you already know. And I want to thank Mr. Norm McNichol for his leadership in advance of me. He has left behind a legacy, and I greatly appreciate everything that he has done. And I thank council for giving me the opportunity to follow in his footsteps. So since day one, November 30th, my focus has been to gain a better understanding of Stillwater, both what Stillwater has been, where we are now, and then collectively where we want to go in the future. This includes diving into our infrastructure needs, tax base, funding options, economic development tools, including that we have one of 4 commercial airports in the state of Oklahoma, which are Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Stillwater, and Lawton. And we are home to a D1 university, which we have already established is a whole different world. I've had more than one run in with that. And please know I'm still learning, so if I can't answer a question today or I say something that you think is not quite right, don't hesitate to reach out to me and we can have a conversation at another time about whatever you would like to discuss. I've recently reorganized our organization. We brought Brady Moore. He is now deputy city manager. He was at the helm when Norm retired, and I don't really know how he managed to keep everybody running together all alone by himself in the city manager's office. So kudos to you. Thank you for keeping that going. We brought on 2 assistant city managers. We chose Christy Driscoll, who is currently the HR director. So she's now an assistant city manager, and she kept her title as HR director during the transitionary period. And we chose Christy Cluck, who is the finance director. She also is retaining her title during the transition, and they have moved into the city manager's office. And I will tell you, it's got quite a different atmosphere. Since that has happened, we are having a lot of discussions internally, and I believe 4 minds are better than 1 mind. So we are taking a very team approach to the things that we're doing, and we're being very intentional. Um, so me personally, I bring with me a value of relationships, which you all are very good at already having established, and I appreciate that. Um, and I believe in sincere and honest partnerships. I don't believe in transactional partnerships. I don't want relationships. It's about what can I do for you and you can do for me, but what can we all do for Stillwater to make Stillwater a better place to be? Those are the relationships I'm looking for and that I'm talking about. And they're one of the reasons why I chose Stillwater as a place to come to, is I already saw that that was happening and I wanted to be a part of that. Um, Council and I could not be more on the same page right now. Stillwater exemplifies a vision forward, and we are a community of not only dreamers but doers. I think you can see that in this room today. You all are doing things. You can't, if you have dreamers, nothing gets done. If you have doers, nobody looks ahead to decide what needs to be done. And these visionaries see an opportunity of how to make our home even greater and follow through to make it happen, utilizing those partnerships and investment pathways and leveraging momentum from our big projects, which are the hub and the Rails to Trails, Block 34, which, by the way, we're doing groundbreaking on it on Tuesday, February 6th at 2 p.m. And we also have USA Rare Earth, Fire Station number 2. We have broken ground on it. If you haven't driven by and had a look at that, they're going like mad. We have hotel and convention center slated, and then we have many TIF projects, which have included Stone Cloud, Hatch, Everyman, and a facade for Eskimo Joe's, Finnegan's, and many more. One of our main roles at the city should always be to provide all the tools needed for business to come in and start up. So we've been having more conversations about how to make it easier to say yes, and how to make it easier for organizations to come into our city and choose us. We understand that the keys to a successful, healthy, thriving community include economic development opportunities and quality of life initiatives. People live and invest where they feel safe, included, prosperous, and where their personal values are met, including quality health care and education. Also, a key point is we have to continue seeking ways to diversify our employment opportunities and ensure wages are equitable with the surrounding area and throughout the market. Historically, we've been as intentional and aggressive. This is on the mayor and I's radar, and we are looking up and looking forward to what options we have available to us. All of these points are investments into our shared economic and tax base, and it opens doors for more quality of life efforts and greater opportunities. I mentioned the big projects overview, and I don't think I need to mention them again. I do want to say that a lot of people have been asking me since I got here on day one what my vision for Stillwater was. And it's a common thread, the media, just people at my meet and greets, which so many meet and greets. But, and I've thought about that a lot, and I've really tried to put together my vision for Stillwater, and I was almost asleep the other night. I don't sleep well, but I was just almost asleep, and it dawned on me that it wasn't my job to have a vision for Stillwater. It was my job to understand what the people of Stillwater's vision was for Stillwater. And so that's my vision. My vision is that we come to a place where the citizens feel like they've been included and that the vision for Stillwater is their vision. And that goes hand in hand and is at the right time that we are starting our comprehensive plan, and we are inviting community members to come together and tell us, what do you want Stillwater to be in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And I think that is key to what we will be. And I think that I'm lucky and fortunate to be coming in at that time. I get to meet the citizens, I get to hear their thoughts, and then I get to make decisions based upon the information that they give me, not upon information that I just think up on my own. because I can think up some pretty crazy things. And so we're starting that. Brady, remind me, the 13th, February 13th, from 5 to 6:30 at the community center. We want everybody to come out and participate, give their point of view. Freeze Nichols is helping us facilitate that. They'll be there to guide the conversation. We are trying to reach out to all of the stakeholders in the city, so healthcare, youth, education, city, citizen, all the things. We want everybody there. We want to hear everybody's voice. We want to create an action plan. We want to talk about what funding sources are available to make those dreams come true, and then put them in a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan. I know Norm knows a lot about that, and I know that he has accomplished a lot with his, and I look forward to being hopefully as successful as he was with his endeavors. So please, I implore you that for the best of Stillwater, please come out and please help us create that vision that everybody is seeking so desperately. And if you come to that and you like that and you really want to be invested in your city, you're here doing great things. I know probably some of you have already done it, and I'm just saying it again because I say it everywhere. If you would like to serve on a board or a committee, you can go to our website and you can fill out a form, and you can either tell them what you're interested in or say, meh, I'll just do whatever. And then you can serve, and you can kind of get an inside view of what happens in city government. Because until you get on the inside of city government, I think Brady can attest to this, until you get to the inside of it, you really, and Roger can speak to that too, private, inside, out. He left, dark side, light side. And it's just not, you just don't know until you see it. So I invite you to please come and find your place that you can fit and listen, and we're ready to hear what you have to say and hopefully make as much happen as we can. I feel like Stillwater is standing just right on the edge of big things, and I think we just need that little push to get that traction started, and I think it's beginning, and I think that wheel's going to turn. So I'll stop rambling now, and probably you won't let me come back to another meeting, but if you would like to ask questions, I'm open to them, and if I can't answer them, I will get back to you, or staff will get back to you with the proper answer. So, yes?
What citizen committees or boards are really hurting for members?
That is a good question. I didn't bring that today. I believe the Board of Adjustments, Planning Commission, Brady, do you know?
I think like drainage appeals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be one we're short on.
Drainage appeals?
Yeah, Board of Drainage Appeals, but I think the Board of Adjustment has been one that we have been hurting, but we just have, the mayor's gonna make some nominations.
On the next agenda?
Yep, the next meeting.
Talk about the convention center, what the timeline is, or is there any new information? It seems like it was going to get rolling pretty quick, and then maybe not.
So we had a meeting. Wow, time flies. Last week, I think, maybe the week before, we sat down with the developer and investor, and we talked about feasibility and funding mechanisms. And we came away from that table saying we need to think about a few more pieces and how they might work, and then we are scheduled to get back together and talk. So there's no design yet. They have renderings and they have their stuff, but the deep stuff has not been done yet. So there has been no commitment made at this time, but we are still in discussions.
So the question is, what is it that's a primary impediment to attracting more higher paying industries, firms to Stillwater? I'm thinking particularly about the technology park has not really blossomed. And when Armstrong left, it seemed like we haven't had a comparable company come in. There must be something going on that I don't know about that has not resulted in success in that kind of growth.
Well, to be honest, if I knew the answer to that, I could probably fix everything. I don't know the answer to that, but that is definitely questions that we are asking internally and discussing and seeing if we can. So we're looking at best practices in other places and trying to learn maybe how they handled things differently, or, you know, how to shift. But I don't have the answer to that, and I don't know when I'll have the answer to that. But thank you for the question. It is one we are considering. Yes.
What do you see as Stillwater's biggest challenges or problems in 5, 10, 15 years?
So what I see right now in the 63 days that I've been here is there is no funding mechanism for your capital improvement needs that aren't directly tied to your water, sewer, streets. So buildings and just all the things that we own, police cars, police uniforms, bunker gear for fire trucks, all those types of things, we don't really have a direct stream of revenue. All the cities I've worked for in the past have had a dedicated stream of revenue for that, and we struggle every year. Well, they tell me they struggle every year with funding the capital projects that get requested because they seem to be at the end of the budget. And so that piece, our facilities that we currently own and the things that we try to use to do the job that we do are deteriorating because we don't have that funding mechanism. I don't know what the answer to that is either, but I see that as a problem moving forward through time as our infrastructure ages that we're currently in. So that right now at 63 days, that's my biggest surprise.
I'm sorry.
I can go after you.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to ask a question then, I guess.
I had two voices.
Sorry if this seems a little a naive question for some in the room, but talk a little bit about what is a city manager's job? Like, what powers do you have, if you will?
I have all the power.
And I'm guessing you didn't go to college saying, I want to be a city manager.
No, I didn't.
And, like, how does that come to be? And I will
Well-
point out you're a woman also. Is when you go to
What?
city manager conferences, are there a lot of women in this role? Okay.
No. Okay. So I went to school, obviously, to be an accountant. I did private accounting for a handful of years and got moved to a small town, Poto, and I went unemployed for 9 months because I wasn't related to anybody. And if you've been to
You're also saying Poto with a T. It's Poto if you're from
Poto.
down there.
It's Poto.
Poto.
It's Durant. So I know Poto. So that's where I got my start. I hated governmental finance when I took it in school. I hated it. I swore I would never do it. And a friend said, put my name on your resume, go apply. I said, I don't know how to do that kind of accounting. She said, just do it anyway. I went into the meeting, and I got into the meeting as they opened the mayor. I thought it would be me and the mayor. Opened the door, and there's half a council sitting, well, just one short of half a council sitting in there. And I turned around and said, I'm not going in that room. And he literally, Jeff Shockley was a tall, he's a big man. He took me by the upper arm and he shoved me through the door and shut the council doors behind him and stood and refused to let me leave. And so I stumbled into my first interview. They asked me about my experience, and I just flat told them I didn't know how to do their kind of accounting, but I could learn, and they hired me. I don't know why. So I did that. That was trial by fire. I will tell you, governmental accounting is very different than any other kind of accounting that's out there. Thank goodness I found Frank Crawford and his organization, and he mentored me and taught me, him and Marcy Twyman taught me everything I know about governmental finance. And then somewhere along the line, I wound up in Guyman. Love took me to Guyman. And I was there 14 months, and the council went in to review the city manager's contract. And as the clerk, sitting there saying yays and nays, taking yays and nays, they fired him. And it was budget time. In fact, we were supposed to approve the budget at that meeting and didn't because they fired him. And he got up and left the room. And so I was really in a panic, and I grabbed hold of the city attorney and the mayor and drug them in my office and said, "What is going on? And do you know you left this place with nobody in charge? And we have a budget to pass. In fact, you've broken the law now. You haven't done it." And I said a lot of words. And they're just smiling. They're just smiling. And I said, "I need to know what your plan is so I can get in touch with the person and we can make it." I'm doing the things. And they're just still laughing. And finally I said, "This is not funny." And they said, "It is funny." And I said, "Well, tell me, do tell." And they said, "Well, the plan is you." And I jumped out of my chair and slammed my hands down on the desk, and I said, "I am not the plan." And they said, "Yes, you are. Post the agenda." And I said, "What are you saying?" And they said, "Post the agenda. We're going to make you the acting city manager in 2 days." And I said, "Oh, I don't want to be." And they said, "We don't care. You're going to do it anyway." And so that's how it went. And that's how I became a city manager. I was supposed to be an auditor, and I'm a city manager instead. And as far as, I didn't even understand the form of government that they had because I could do the finance, but I had aldermanic when I was in Poto. Now I was city manager council form, so I pulled out ordinance books. I read ordinance books. I called for help from every source I could find, and I spent the first year saying, "I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? What is that? Why does that matter?" And calling lots of people on the phone. And so that's how I became a city manager. I like to say I did not choose a city manager life, it chose me. And then as far as being a woman, when I started as a city manager, I was only 40. And at that time, I was young for a city manager, and I was a female. And when I went to conferences, there was only a handful of us, and there's still not many. I would say my guess would be in the state of Oklahoma. I don't know the teeny tiny towns, but maybe 10. And Stillwater is the largest city with a female city manager at the present time. So it has been a challenge. I don't wear these things on my feet because they don't hurt. I found quickly that I had to be as tall as and as big as and as loud as everybody that I came across. I couldn't deal with contractors by looking up at their face. I had to be eye to eye, and I had to be big, and I had to be forceful. And so I donned the heels, and I got as tall as a 6-foot man, and I just went around acting like I was a city manager. And then one day I did. I faked it. I stood in the mirror, so I networked, so I knew I had to network. Accountants, you can back me up. We don't really like to do that. And it was hard for me, so I would stand in the mirror in the hotel room before I went down to the reception where I had to talk to the people. I had my business cards, and I would have on a postcard, I would have I call it my elevator speech. So I had the 5 things that were happening in Guyman that, when they say, "What's happening in Guyman?" And you say, "Oh." So I would say my 5 things. I would review my 5 things because my mind would go blank as soon as they spoke to me. And so I spent so much time walking up, introducing, handing out cards, giving my elevator speech, and it just wore me out. So every conference I would go to, I would be ill when I came home. But I have gotten better at it. And I took my MBAs in leadership and organizational design and development. And that is the best thing that I did for my career. I learned a lot about people during that time. But we do have a women in municipal government, WMG, that has been started in the last, I think, 5 years. And so there are more women that are finding their way into the profession. But it's hard to break in. Most people come up through the ranks. Norm came up through the ranks. Brady came from the outside. That's kind of, huh? My powers. Yeah. So I didn't choose it. It chose me. But I will tell you, most of my life, every job I've ever had, I was bored within a year of having that job. I knew everything, how to do all the things. I had done all the things. I was bored. I was just going through the motions. I get bored real easily. But I know. Don't worry. You already have. And I already said I don't sleep, so I'm awake a lot of hours. So when I became a city manager was the first time I realized it had been a year, and I still hadn't gone home tired of this. And it's now been, 12 years, and I'm still not bored. So I think I feel like I've found my little place. And my biggest thing that I enjoy about being a city manager is I know that the decisions that we make today are impacting things that are going to be 50 and 100 years down the road. We aren't just looking at today. We aren't looking at the trees. We are looking way over the top of those trees to the other side, and it weighs on me. So I will shut up now. Oh, we got more questions.
I'm sorry, I still
I
have
can
one.
ramble like
This will be
nobody's
easy,
business.
maybe.
Oh,
So since
maybe.
you've been here,
Yes, 62
and you
days.
were before you officially started, you were here because I
Yes,
saw you places.
You
So
did.
since you've been around, what has been your very favorite thing about Stillwater?
My very favorite thing. Oh, the homecoming was the best thing. I'm sorry. It was amazing. So the Visit Stillwater brought me down for homecoming. I got to ride around in a little golf cart with the mayor and see all the what are those called at the houses with the decorations. And they told me to be ready. They were going to be amazing. And I was like, yeah, okay, I got this in my head. And then I was like, oh, that's a totally different level. That amazed me. And the number of people that came out for that brought their children, and you could just see the generations of people coming into that, and you could see that melding, and you could see the generosity that was happening. I think that was my favorite thing about Stillwater. So.
Very good.
Thank you.